everyone, this is Laurel with Guided by Love, and I'm here to do a daily twin flame love message. So let's get started. We have the Wisdom of Avalon deck, and I already pre-shuffled the deck, and we have the decks, and we have the Sacred Travelers deck. So I'm going to get some messages. Let's see, I'm being drawn to use this for the messages for the journey. So what are the messages to know today for the twin flame love journey? What are the messages? Oh, that one wants to come out. And at the bottom of the deck we have begin now. So we've been having this message of begin now, take the first step. And you can see that, there's a journey that lies ahead, the twin flame journey, still going. And, they're waving goodbye to each other. The separation that occurs in a twin flame journey is for preparation. Both of you are learning lessons along the way, and there are no mistakes. There's only opportunities for learning about yourself, learning to love yourself in order to reunite and come back together with your person. There's a lot of layers. If you think about an onion, there's a lot of layers that are unpeeled on this journey, and it transforms and happens that way so that we are shedding the old, shedding the fears, shedding fear, and stepping into more love with each step. So this kind of tells the story of that separation, but I feel this is, beginning now. Beginning now is about, the next phase of your journey. There may be times where, you take the lead, where your person takes the lead, but, there's always going to be, there's always going to be that togetherness in the spiritual. Even if you're not together in the physical, it's an eternal love. It's a spiritual connection. I was explaining this to someone yesterday. They were asking me gobs of questions about the connection. And, and I thought, oh, do I even go there? Because, I don't think they're going to understand. And they were just trying to be funny about it, asking me the questions, but deep down they really wanted to know. And then they looked it up online. I'd answered every question, and then they looked it up online, and I said, well, did you see what you wanted to see about it and about twin flames? And they said, yeah, pretty much what you said. So, the information is out there, and I said I've learned a lot. You learn a lot on your journey about twin flames. You learn a lot. You are matched with the people that are meant to be teachers to you, and then you're, you're, in constant guidance by spirit is what I want to say. And it's a glorious, rewarding journey. It's harder than nails, but it's a very also rewarding. It's something you never want to, you just feel very blessed and very grateful for the journey and everything that you've learned and all the love that you get to embody by letting go of fears and patterns and all that kind of stuff. So the overall message, begin now. Then we have grounding. This is going deep, exploring your roots. Yeah, this is allowing, and there's a little bird above her. She's grounding herself out in nature. You can ground yourself inside too, by listening to drum music, if you can't get outside, or listening to nature music. Looking at pictures of trees just grounds me sometimes, but this is her taking advantage of, the beauty outdoors and her time she can get outside and ground. And this allows you to go deeper within. And it's easier to connect with your person. I mean, it just depends, but sometimes it's a lot easier to connect with your person outside, through the grounding, through nature. So take it as it resonates, but definitely today is a day of grounding, connecting deeply with yourself, which allows you to connect deeper with your person and them with you. Then we have narrow pathway. Yeah, so this is just a reminder to tread thoughtfully, be carefully, because as a light worker, as a twin flame, we walk a narrow path. We are, what do I want to say, not pilgrims, but we're the way showers. We walk a path unlike anyone else, and our path is developed is especially for us. And so this is saying that you are going where other people aren't going, and they don't have to, other people don't have to understand. It's important that you understand, and that you are connected to spirit, and that is going to help you tread carefully on your path, to stay on your path, because it is an individual path for you, created for you by God, by the higher power. And it shows that it's, as you ascend higher, it gets narrower and narrower, and there's there's a lot of things that happen when you ascend higher. You become your own best friend. You become you have that relationship with spirit, that friendship with spirit. You look at things from a higher perspective. You learn to live of this in this world, but not necessarily being of it. There's a detachment that happens. So this is, just a reminder to stay connected to spirit, and and sit with things before you decide what to do, because spirit's going to be there guiding you. That sounds like another song to me. I don't know. Vast vistas is the next card. Expand your horizons. So oftentimes we keep ourselves in a box, oh, I can't go that way because of this. I can't go that way because of this. And this is really encouraging you to get outside of your comfort zone, out of that self-made box, so to speak, and try some new things, go on new adventures. This is, expansion of your horizons, which, helps expand your energy. Sometimes taking a trip, or, it doesn't have to be a trip, but getting away or doing something different, it gives us a shift in our perspective. And it's a big enough shift that we actually come into more of our spiritual gifts. So, where shifts happen inside of us. So this is encouraging that for you and your person. And a huge shift for both of you is going to be coming back together, being guided to come back together is going to be a huge life-changing shift for both of you. And then we have breaking trail. So this is what a breakthrough is at hand. So this is, you and your person waking up to having breakthroughs about your connection, about your path that you've walked so far. Things maybe becoming clearer, but as I said, we're the I can't think of the word I want to use, but we are the ones that create a new path. We create the path. We by the breakthroughs that we have and the ideas that Spirit gives us, we create that. Where is it? Where's that card? We help create with Spirit the narrow pathway, the pathway that we're meant to follow, by the work that the internal work that we do, that creates the breakthroughs. And that leads you and your person back to each other. So, you become the forger of your own paths, and you also create those breakthroughs for each other and for one another, because you're mirrors. You're mirror souls, one soul in two bodies. But this is going to be a breakthrough at hand as you journey each other's path. And there's going to be a breakthrough that happens that it may I feel like it's of the heart, because he's all in green. A breakthrough that's going to happen, that's going to be a catalyst for you two coming back together. And then we have ascend the mountain, keep going. And you have to ask yourself, is it really a mountain? Because when we have faith as small as a mustard seed, we can move mountains, so they can appear as a mountain, but with faith, they can actually be moved out of the way. Not with just us, but working with Spirit, working with God, having that faith and believing and surrendering allows miracles and magic to happen. So, I have many stories of that. 12:22 on the clock. I have many stories of that throughout my journey about surrendering and having magic happen. And, maybe someday I'll do a video with just that, stories from my journey where I've had to surrender and, magic happening, because it really is, incredible to look back and see on your own journey, and be grateful. When we're grateful for those, for that magic and it keeps us going on this journey, is what I want to say. Look back at all the magical times on your journey so far, and it really does keep you going. And, of course, Spirit keeps you going as well by showing you those signs and synchronicities to bolster your faith. So those are the main messages. Let's get a message from your person using the wisdom of Avalon. So what is it that your person wants to relay to you today? What's important, Holy Spirit, angels, and guides from your person? And we have the goblin, the wounded human ego. So they are in their ego today. They're shedding. I feel right now there's a shedding happening of, the patterns, the mind patterns, and the behaviors that we no longer need. So there's like a shedding happening with them right now. And they may be feeling a little, down and, really needing to bolster their faith to keep going. But there's a breakthrough at hand. The ego is something we all have, and it's a necessary part of being here on earth, but it's learning how to balance it, balancing it in conjunction with being a spiritual, not only, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So of course that ego is gonna creep out, but this is about, letting go of the mind patterns and behaviors, and, cracking the parts off that no longer serve us. at transforming the parts that no longer serve us. And this happens through our spiritual path, through the lessons that we go through. So this is a 31, which equals 4, and it's going to bring more stability, security, and safety into them and into your connection. So I hope that helped, and I am going to wish you a lovely, lovely day with many blessings, and I am hoping that you subscribe, and I will see you here later today for our quick reads. Namaste.